When Jesus would go out and he would teach the multitudes, he bumped up against a serious problem. And that problem infects us today. And he made this statement to the crowd as he was addressing them. He was saying, you have ears to hear, but you don't hear. You have eyes to see, but you don't see. See, what he was saying here is he was not talking about hearing with your physical ears or seeing with your physical eyes. It was gaining insight and revelation in your heart by the work of the Holy Spirit, discerning and receiving things spiritually from God. You see, God can speak a message through a person, and that message can go out. People can hear it with their physical ears, see it with their physical eyes, but it doesn't impact their hearts. Maybe it just comes through as data, as information. The reality is they just don't get it. And Jesus addressed this problem because the things that God teaches us must be discerned and received by the Spirit. And if we look at it with just natural man inclination or just an information data grid, then we're not going to get what God is saying. So sometimes Jesus would default to stories, and he would teach the precepts in the stories to those who were open-hearted. And the people who came as critics or know-it-alls or as the religious elevated elite, but didn't have hearts that were teachable, they wouldn't get it. But the people who came with a childlike faith would come and would receive with a humble and teachable heart the things that God was bringing about. So today we live in a crisis where we have ears, but we don't hear. We have eyes, but we're not seeing. Because, and Jesus said this in Matthew 13, he said, for the hearts of these people have grown dull. Their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, unless what? They should see with their eyes, hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their hearts. You see, this is the key place. Understanding with your hearts so that you turn, so that, he says, so I can heal you. Here's the problem. We have so much knowledge and data and information, we're actually disconnected from the experience of it in our heart. God isn't just interested in filling you with data and knowledge and information and all these impressive theological statements. What he wants to do is penetrate your heart with truth that sets you free, that you have experience with what he's saying. But it starts with a humble and teachable heart that's willing to bend the knee and say, I need to learn. Speak to me, God. One of the cries of the Holy Spirit says, he that has ears to hear. That doesn't mean, do you have physical earlobes? Does your ear canal work? It's he who has ears to spiritually perceive, to understand, to receive revelation, to receive in your heart. Because here's the thing. Jesus was saying you need to be healed. And today many people say, no, I don't. I don't need to be healed. I'm not broken. I don't have any issues. So their heart becomes dull. When we distance ourselves from our need, we say, I don't need that stuff. I'm good. Everything's good. I don't need any. Oh, that's just for those really super broken people. We distance ourselves from what we really need. Because Jesus said, if you really receive it in your heart, first of all, your heart would be awakened. You'd awaken to, oh my goodness, I'm headed in a direction in my life. I'm cooperating in an area that's not fruitful for my journey with God. You awaken to it. And many of us are dulled to where our thoughts and patterns are leading us. We're not aware of true motives of our heart. We're not aware of the why of what's really going on in our hearts because we're disconnected. Jesus said the hearts of people have grown dull. And one of the primary ways that your heart can grow dull is your focus on just getting head knowledge and not experiencing the truth of God in your day-to-day life. And that takes a different posture. It takes a different posture to work on the wounds of your life, the pains, the disappointments, to process those areas with God. It's work. But it's the more fruitful way. Instead, today we live in a season and a generation where our hearts are numb. Our hearts are disconnected. The breaker's been pulled. We've shut off ourselves from a real heart-to-heart relationship with God and with other people. So when God speaks, things are being said, we don't get it. When you read his word and what he's really saying just passes you right by. But the person who is willing to say, I want to be teachable. I want to humble myself. I don't want to just do religious routine. I don't want to just check off my devotional box and say, well, I went to church, I prayed, I read my Bible, so I'm good. I want to have a meaningful connection. And so what Jesus was looking for is people who move past just tell me the quick thing. In a lot of my work with people, they come with a crisis and they want in one session, come and tell me the thing I need to do to quick fix this. It shows they're not heart connected. Because every area in your life that needs to be addressed or developed or matured needs to be led on a journey. And when you're heart connected, you go, all right, I got to buckle up and take a journey. But we live in a society that wants the quick fix, want the quick thing. Just tell me, tell me, tell me. And when the message of what we need comes to us, we don't have ears to hear. We don't have eyes to see. So it moves right past us, and we're still looking for the quick fix or the quick 3 steps or the data or information to just move us past this onto the next thing. We want to move at the speed of data. You see, the speed of a heart-connected life has a slower rhythm to it. There's more waiting, learning to trust, learning to release control, submit to God, learning to connect to His grace and love, learning to pause. It's a whole different rhythm. And it causes us to face ourselves. When you deal with heart-connected relationship, you realize you got to face yourself. The real things that are going on in your life so God can move you into a new direction. So I pray that you be one of those people that breaks out of a disconnected heart, that breaks out of a heart that has grown dull. And you can start with a prayer. It just says, God, awaken my heart. I choose to invite you into that place to dig up the fallow ground and to ignite those places that have grown dull. Let my ears hear and let my eyes see. Take the veil off so that, as Paul said in Ephesians, the eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that I'd be able to receive what you're saying in your word and everything that you have for me with a fresh perspective. I pray you get that, and I pray that it helps your walk and your journey. Get your copy of the Heart Healing Journey, and I look forward to equipping your awakening, healing, and transformational experience.